Hello, so I'm going to be doing a live stream for an hour or more. I'm just going to have a play about the straps on this mask, because for some reason they feel a bit off-centre, and I don't know why. But I'll take it off in a minute maybe and have a look and work out why it's doing that. So if you don't know what the mask is, it's the Scott M98, which is actually a very good Scott mask. The only thing that's a bit annoying on it is it has a buzzy voice diaphragm, but it's not too bad. Oh, happy birthday then, KLM Flair. Happy birthday. Also, don't forget to like the stream, everybody, because that seems to help YouTube share it. So it says there's currently 14 people on, so if we can get 14 likes, that would be good. So yeah, I've been at work all day, but back now, obviously. And can get some more YouTube videos done in a week. And obviously nice and quiet new PC. Not making a lot of noise in the stream or throwing out a lot of heat, which is good. Depends how long ago you did it, that guy, but I hadn't had any new ones in the sort of last few days when I checked. I've not had any power cuts near me for ages. I don't live too far from a substation, so it's very rare actually we get power cuts. And when we get power cuts, they're normally like an hour, 2 hours at most. And I've got enough things that have batteries and everything else, so I never really care, to be honest. No, Mike, you've just missed me saying hello to everybody and saying don't forget to like the stream. That's cool. So what's that, like a hood that would protect it from BBs? What's it made out of? Sounds interesting. Like thick kind of plasticky fabric or something. Also, I've ordered a new mask because Hype found me one of those modern Russian lightweight masks that's a bit like the PTMs, but it's like the camo one that's for soldiers, and that was only about £18 with the postage included in that price. It's a bit like a flash hood then. Oh, if it works, it works. That's good. But the FM12 is pretty well protected anyway, so yeah, as long as you've got like the thinner bits of rubber and that covered, it should be fine. Right, if it was right next to my head, it should be one of the ones that's on the wall there. It's probably that one there, and that's a half-face respirator, and it's not a very good one. Well, there's never been a big riot near me, because I don't live in a big city. I'm not going to go down the route of answering questions about killing people, to be completely honest with you. Well, I remember him, but I wasn't in London, so as I said, it's not a... if you're on about that one, as I said, it's just a Chinese half-face mask. It's not very good. No, I'd like to go to the US maybe in a couple of years. Right, the people talking in Polish, I'm assuming they're talking in Polish. I'm afraid I can't understand you. Right, so what I'm going to do is see if I can work out why the straps are irritating me at the moment. Not irritating as in causing a rash, but irritating as in they're not quite right. So what I think it might be, yeah, it's where the things have got a bit pinched. I don't know if you'll be able to see that on the webcam, in the buckle. So I need to find a way of just twisting that back round the right way. That can happen with fabric straps now and again. So just chat amongst yourselves while I fix this. Shouldn't take me too long. It might be easiest actually if I just do this, pull the strap fully one way and then do it like that. Don't know why it's done that all of a sudden. That's a bit strange, but it's basically like the fabric's flipped over on itself. Yeah, it's because the voice diaphragm, this is a very good mask, but the voice diaphragm's a bit buzzy. Don't know if it's actually like a plastic one in there or like a metal disc type one. I think it's just plastic by the look of it. Yeah, let's get that way you can see it on the webcam. Yeah, I think it's just a plastic disc looking at that. Can you see my thumb on the other side of it? Yeah, you can, so it's a plastic disc. Yeah, because you can see light coming through it, because I can actually see through that. So, yeah, it's just obviously a plastic one which buzzes a little bit. It's a very good Master Scott M98 though. Like I said, that's one of the only bits I don't like on it is the voice diaphragm buzzes a bit. But I'd rather have a voice diaphragm where you're a bit loud and it buzzes than one that's very quiet and muffled, even if it's very clear. So let me just see if I can fix these straps, because that's a bit irritating. But I don't know why it's done that all of a sudden. Because it's done it on this strap as well. See where it's like twisted on the thing. Right, this one, that looks like I've fixed this one. What I think is if I get the strap exactly as I want it, then undo it so it's clamped. There we go. Like that. I think that's the problem. I think what's happened is where I've had the mask off for a while and the strap's been in a certain position. Yeah, that'll be it, because look, now I've undone that there, I can get the strap in the right position. So now, if I feed that back through, there we go. Yeah, it's just obviously where it was caught and then done up, so the buckle was kind of pushing the strap one way. So yeah, if I leave that loose like that, then I don't think I'll have a problem. So yeah, that's the strap sorted, very easy fix at least. Yeah, it's strange. Or do you mean the microphone VPU for it, or just the voice diaphragm, Chris? But yeah, it's a strange voice diaphragm on this mask, as saying, because it's one that buzzes a lot. Saying that, because they look like hex keys at some point, I might get my hex key screwdriver, take that off, and have a look at the voice diaphragm. It says 12 likes on mine, but 18 people watching. Let me have a quick look, because I think there might even be a hex key one in this. I've got a proper set of hex key screwdrivers. Never used smoke machines. I've seen them at discos and things like that, but I don't have a use for a smoke machine. So yeah, the actual electric VPU. Yeah, right, let's see. Is there a hex one in here or not? I don't think there is of the right size, actually, looking at that. No, there's not. Right, I can't do it with this then, but... Yeah, I think for whatever reason, sometimes the amount of likes and all that you can see shows up differently for you than it does other people on the stream. It's quite strange. I don't know why that's the case, but oh well. It's not the end of the world, is it? So, yeah, I'll have a look at some point. But I think I'm just going to see if I can actually, take this cover off and reseat the voice diaphragm and see if it buzzes a bit less. Evening, Richard, you all right? Anyway, yeah. I'll get back on to reading the chat now. And don't forget, if you're interested in merchandise, there's the S10 merchandise out now. There's the one on a mug. And you can get on a hoodie and t-shirt and whatever else, or just shill my merch while I'm waiting for questions. I'll put that one on, actually, because it's quite comfy. Oh, there we go. Over my glasses. So yeah, there you go. As you can see, pretty accurate picture Bart drew of the S10. Even has a little NBC ridge look along there. That's weird, Charles. Don't know that. Don't know why, but yeah, YouTube does weird stuff like that. If you put a comment on a regular video, it's not as bad, but for some reason in live streams, it's like YouTube has a list of words that are completely almost like blocked or banned on streams. So not words I've put on, because if there's like a swear word or something I've got on held for review, what ends up happening is that like your comment just says held for review, and then I can click like approve or decline. But sometimes people keep saying, did you not see my message? Did you not see my message? So there's some messages where YouTube just will not display the message at all, which is really strange. But yeah, again, yeah, like you said, if you've made comments on certain things, maybe they're doing it for that reason. Don't know if you. Oh, sorry. I thought you said, have you tried sleep paralysis then? I've never had sleep paralysis. But yeah, I've heard it's very scary if you get it and you see like the nightmare kind of things, but I've never had it. The closest I've had to sleep paralysis is, say, for example, I've laid on a side and then my arm or my leg's gone dead because of the angle I've been laying on, so then when you wake up, it's pitch black and you can't move your arm. That can be pretty creepy, but I've never had sleep paralysis. So, yeah, I quite like jazz. I mean, like 1930s kind of, older jazz stuff. I haven't really listened to any modern jazz, to be honest, but like, yeah, some of the old sort of easy listening jazz type stuff is quite nice. What was I going to say? Yeah, I've played a load more Stalker over the last couple of days since I've been streaming it. So I'll definitely do stream some more Stalker in the week. I might actually stream some Stalker tomorrow, I reckon. And then, yeah, I might do like a couple of hours of Stalker because I find Stalker very easy to play for quite a long time, assuming it doesn't crash. Well, the thing is, like, YouTube obviously has the right with their own platform to have monetized what they want, but I think they should be a lot more open about what can and can't be monetized. And then if a video gets demonetized, I think they should actually post a reason it's been demonetized. Like where if you submit it to be re-reviewed and they say, we've declined it, it'd be nice if they'd write a short statement saying this video contains this, which is not advertiser friendly. Because sometimes I can make a load of gas mask videos. Some get demonetized and others don't. I can appeal it, then some get approved and some still stay demonetized. And it's really random over like the reason. So there's like essentially no, feedback to the video maker why that's the case. Well, you say that, Richard, that sucks, but it's quite funny why you're saying that. It almost sounds like drugs, doesn't it? They're cutting your coke with cheaper materials. You're not getting pure Colombian coke, are you? You're getting like, you want probably the pure Welsh coke, don't you? If you're buying coal, you want the pure Welsh coke, but you're getting they're cutting it to yeah, your dealers are ripping you off, Richard, I think. Well, it's not just Iran and the US, because Iran stole a British ship as well. I think it's a dangerous game that they're playing, because as much as I think Iran should obviously have the right to self-autonomy and everything like that, like all countries should have that right, generally messing with a superpower like the US is not a good idea, because they'll find oil in your country and they'll invade you. Yeah, Richard does blacksmithing, Charles, so it's coal for a forge, basically. But it's just funny how he wrote it, and he might have done that on purpose, made it sound like, cocaine. But wonder if my stream will get demonetized now because I've said the word cocaine. Who knows? Don't think I've ever listened to Clubhouse music. Or if I have, I can't remember any. As I've already said quite a few times, I don't speak Polish, sorry, so if you keep making Polish comments, I can't read them. Did you watch Project G1, Mike? I don't know if you sent me a message on Twitter about it, because I did send you a message earlier, but I don't know if you replied. Oh, it says you've replied. Oh, you thought it was bloody excellent. The plots on both would make great full feature films. Like, yeah, he said they deserve many more views and subs. Yeah, it's that bit in that about Welsh coal. The engines becoming addicted to Welsh coal. I just thought of that when Richard was saying about Coke. What, the big Soviet poster? All the other ones are ones I printed out. The sign I bought from B Store. But the big poster, if you go on eBay and search like Soviet civil defense poster, Soviet posters, civil defense posters, you'll find loads of things like that. I think this is technically a reprint. It's a very well done reprint, because some of the old ones you can find cost more money and they're like quite torn and faded. But that's like a really nice high-resolution poster material. So it's all about, obviously, different types of Soviet civil defense masks, how to clean your mask, how to measure your head for the mask, how to put on the mask. Section on that side about children's masks. Yeah, if you just, like I said, go on eBay, search Soviet posters and things like that, you'll find loads like that, and there's all different ones as well. Don't think I could grow a mullet, Iron Man, but I do other stuff for charity, so I don't need to grow a mullet for it. What is it with you and mullets? Yeah, I certainly don't believe all the stuff the US and other countries say about Iran. I mean, I don't want to get too much into politics because, as I said, politics is very divisive and I find a lot of it quite boring. But yeah, like I said, a lot of stuff could be like Iraq WMDs and all this. But I mean, in all seriousness, Iran should really know that it's not a good idea to mess with America because if they piss America off too much, they'll just end up getting stomped. Like I said, I don't want to go into politics too much because that becomes a massive can of worms if you start opening that. But I don't like the double standard, I will say, where the US will completely support Saudi Arabia doing horrible things because Saudi Arabia is technically an ally. But then if another, Islamic region or whatever does something and it's not the US's ally, then it's a massive problem. No, because Red Dead Redemption 2 isn't on PC yet, so I don't have a PS4 or Xbox One, so I haven't played it. Bart's got it and Mike's got it. I watch Mike streaming a lot of it, but no spoilers in the chat for obvious reasons. I'll definitely get it, although sadly I know a lot of the plot because it has been spoiled for me anyway. But I'll definitely be getting it on PC when they finally do the PC release. Favorite kind of ice cream. If you mean like out of plain ice creams and not like things like Cornetto type things, probably Cornish cream or whatever they call it, which is like a really nice vanilla one. Pretzels, yeah, pretzels are right, but pretzels aren't all that popular in the UK, to be honest. You can get them in like supermarkets and shops and that, but I mean, it's not a massive thing. I like them when I have them, but I wouldn't particularly go out my way to buy them. Morphine ice cream. Never had that, unfortunately. But yeah, it would sound good. I was kind of thinking that the other day. What if a restaurant opened up and they put small amounts of opiates in people's food? Would people then like always be flocking back to that restaurant because due to their foods being laced with drugs, they'd think it's really, really good. I'd say airsoft, but the thing is, like I said, there's sadly not any airsoft or paintball sites that close to me, which is a reason I never got the UCARA sorted and everything else. Yeah, narcotic MSG. It wouldn't surprise me if that's happened somewhere. While saying that, there was a Chinese takeaway that got closed down and like a load of arrests were done because with the Chinese takeaway, it was used like a front to supply drugs. And what they do is, I think, like when they'd have it was like a proper Chinese takeaway, but obviously that was just the front. But what they used, I think, was apparently like if you phoned up and ordered the right combination numbers, for the like order, that would be the drugs they'd supply you with. So you get the takeaway box and it'd be like full of weed or cocaine or something like that. I don't think we get Buckfast barbecue sauce over here. Well, I'd say a light armored vehicle with auto cannons is probably better, especially if one's infantry can get in and use as an APC. But again, I think that's very situational, isn't it? Depending on what's going on. I know from a lot of like combat footage and stuff from Syria, shilkas are actually being used, which is an anti-aircraft, self-propelled anti-aircraft gun. They are actually really good for urban combat stuff because the guns could elevate high, the turrets could turn really fast, And obviously, like an autocannon firing explosive shells, or 4 autocannons firing explosive shells, is very good for taking out like infantry, and snipers and things in buildings. Getting some very strange comments on here. But no, I don't get into fights with Scotsmen or anyone else for that matter. But yeah, like you're saying, Mike, because it was a big thing where they got like raided and some of the people got sent away for a pretty long time. And we'd actually ordered Chinese from that Chinese before, it was all right Chinese. There's some better ones in our area, so we didn't use it that often because although it was quite close, you could go like a mile further if you were driving in the car or whatever and get a better quality takeaway. But yeah, they all ended up getting done because they were using it as a basically like front as a sort of supply area. Yeah, I saw your previous comment, but that's a bit Karl Marxy, isn't it, calling it that? Sadly, there's not a cheap option. The Polish DP66Ms, if you're in Europe and you get one for like 50 to the £100 region. In America, you can get the old US CD Geiger counters, isn't it? As in civil defense Geiger counters, and they make the clicking noises. Favorite takeaway food? If it's we're on food on these streams already as usual. If it's a Chinese takeaway, generally chicken and cashew nuts in sort of yellow bean sauce. That's nice. I quite like lemon chicken and orange chicken and all those as well, and like sweet and sour and all those. But generally chicken and cashews, because in a couple of my local Chinese takeaways, if you order chicken and cashew nuts, you get a lot more meat and like cashews than you would if you ordered some of the others where like half of it's vegetable. And with Indian sort of takeaways, it depends a lot how they do it, because in some I really like the chicken kormas, in others it's sort of a bit mediocre. But one of my local ones does, I think it's called chicken kashmir or chicken kashmiri, and that's one that's quite nice because it's like banana and other bits in there. So it's a bit like a korma, but it's a bit more interesting because it's like, more fruit stuff in there as well. You ate hungry. Well, I ate a country, did I? You saying I'm not hungry or I am hungry? Right, wait till I start getting some proper comments again, because sadly tonight not that many people seem to be one talking about gas masks or whatever. Yeah, I know, Iron Man. Yeah, I know about that, but as I said, it's a bit dodgy to carry because, as weapon collectors said, yeah, 48 USD is very good for an FM12 if it's in good condition. But the problem is the criminal identifier spray, right? It's completely legal and everything to carry on you in the UK. But if a cop sees it on you, they might think it's pepper spray. So then you'll be arrested. They'll basically use up all of your spray to ID it, find out it's not pepper spray, and then you'll be released. But you'll be down a spray and have a load of your time wasted. How do I know culture of critique? Because there's no good online things to test it. You have to do one the proper paid for IQ test to test it. So I've never done a test. How many gas mask do I own, Zeppelin? Same as last time, 130 odd. Yeah, SF10s are pretty rare, so especially if you're in the US, I'd go for that. Because SF10s are hard enough to find in the UK. I don't even have an SF10. And I really like the S10 family of masks. So, yeah, if you spot an SF10 in the States, I'd definitely go for it. Oh, so you found it. Sorry, so you already bought it. Yeah, that was a good deal then. Yeah, it's good that it is legal in Poland. I really don't see why it's not legal over here, to be honest, because pepper spray, I mean, yeah, like you could have somebody robbing a shop, I guess, who sprays it in a cashier's face before like breaking into the register. But for the most part, pepper spray is obviously designed as a defensive thing, and it's obviously not lethal. There might be some people that have an allergic reaction to it or something, but for the most part, pepper spray isn't like, hitting somebody with something or like shooting somebody with something. Avon CT12 Neon. Exactly, yeah. If somebody was gonna, like break into a store, that you're working behind a counter or whatever, and they were going to attack you, I'd much rather they sprayed me with pepper spray or something than stabbed me with a knife, hacked me with a machete, or shot me with a pistol, In the UK, Avon, it's very strange. Pepper spray in the UK is classed as a Section 5 firearm, which makes it more illegal than lots of real firearms, because our logic, doesn't make sense to me either, but that's the law. Yeah, the other funny thing in the UK is there's lots of things that are classified as firearms by law, which are no way firearms if you look up the dictionary definition of a firearm. Yeah, the thing is, I've seen somebody get pepper sprayed as well, and it is really effective stuff. Again, it might depend on the brand and all this sort of stuff, how sensitive the person is to it. But there was somebody, acting really tough. They got a small amount of pepper spray in their eyes, and they were literally crying and, howling on the floor for like a good 5-10 minutes. So again, like it would be very good as a defensive item because if you sprayed it and ran, if somebody tried to mug you or whatever, it would definitely work for that. As I've said before, the best thing you can probably legally carry in the UK that could act as a self-defense item, I think, would be a really good flashlight. Like Iron Man was saying about mag lights, but I think some of the really high lumen, like modern, like quite small flashlights are good because if you strobe that or shine it in somebody's face on full brightness, I think that would really disorientate somebody, especially if it's a really bright flashlight. Because some people don't believe this, but if you actually get somebody when it's not all that bright outside to shine a flashlight in your eyes to test it, you literally can't see. Yeah, I think maybe people on certain drugs might be able to do that, Chris, or people that have a really good like pain tolerance. But like normal people certainly can't, because you see people online going like, "Oh yeah, pepper spray is useless," because people can shrug it off. But I've never seen any evidence of that in like person when I've seen it used, and like on loads of online videos where people get pepper sprayed. Again, like it might depend on the brand of it and what's in it, but yes, GP5 filters contain asbestos. Right, I'll have a quick look at Twitter to see what you're on about. The good thing now is on Windows 10 at least, there's that Twitter desktop app. How do I see people have tagged me on Twitter? Because at the moment it's only showing me tweets I've made. No, last one was somebody saying you should use Twitter more. So, yeah, there you go. I'm going to delete your comment because that would be incredibly illegal to do. Don't mention anything like that again, Fee. I think even in countries where pepper spray is legal, doing that would get you in serious trouble because it's not something designed as a defense item. Well, funnily enough, saying about that, Rich, there is a bit in Project G1 which I linked Mike to about the trains becoming addicted to Welsh Coke. So there's kind of that going on. But I think it is good, though, that the UK police are moving more towards pepper spray and CS spray. Yeah, in quite a lot of countries it's like that. It's just not in the UK. But yeah, I was saying, because a lot of the police used to carry CS spray, and now most of them are being switched to pepper spray because pepper spray is actually more effective And obviously it's more concentrated because a lot of pepper sprays, actually, although they're called sprays, a lot of them shoot it kind of like silly string, where it's kind of like, over short distances, it's kind of more like, a very concentrated sort of beam. And the thing is as well, that obviously a lot less people are likely to die as a result of pepper spray. I know that might sound silly, but CS is actually quite nasty for a lot of people, because CS is basically one of the forms of tear gas, although it's not actually a gas, it's like a very fine particulate. But there's lots of people that will have things like asthma attacks that could be fatal, or things like that with CS, whereas pepper doesn't seem to ever do that. No, I don't really watch Bear Grylls, to be honest. I've watched more Ray Mia's stuff, to be honest, than Bear Grylls. What's the main difference then, Chris? Because I have no idea about like tasers and stun guns. I mean, obviously, I know tasers shoot the probes, and stun guns are the ones which kind of you have to push into somebody for the arc to work. But what makes those more effective? Do they go through clothing better? Because I've seen videos where people with like thick raincoats on, the probes won't go through, and they end up like attacking police with like weapons and that because the tasers don't work. So does that mean you can shoot it twice, Avon, or whatever? Okay, so yeah, I guess if the first shot doesn't work, you can do a follow-up shot or whatever. That does sound like a good thing. But yeah, I think that's the problem with tasers, is although I think they are quite a good thing in the sense of, like a less lethal, because again, all things like that do carry a risk of potentially killing people. I do think with tasers, they are at least quite good in the sense that, they are less lethal. But again, they do seem to have a problem if somebody's got thick clothing on. Yeah, if you miss, you have another chance or it doesn't penetrate the clothing or whatever. But like I said, I've seen quite a few videos where if it's in the winter time, somebody's got like a coat and a jacket on, all that sort of stuff, and the taser won't go through it. It's a bit like Mike was saying that with baton stuff, the police are trained to baton strike your legs, because lots of people will be wearing more layers at the top than on their legs, so their legs are actually always more vulnerable to stuff like that. So maybe, I don't know, they ought to be trained to shoot people in the legs with tasers. But I can certainly understand how tasers are effective, because I've used the is it EMS, electromuscular stimulation stuff before, for like building muscle and like sports therapy kind of stuff. And that, if you have that on a high setting, you can't control what the muscle's doing that it's attached to. Yeah, the thing is, a lot of companies do their own version of a product, and then they do the branded Bear Grylls stuff like Gerber, and they're almost the exact same products. They're marked up more because they have the Bear Grylls thing on there, like orange and black, aren't they? Because I know with Gerber, they did a couple of knives that were like identical, but like the regular Gerber ones, which were whatever color, were a lot cheaper, and they were like the exact same knife. Wolvercut Nunnery. I have a feeling I've not been to that one yet, but it's the one that's not all that far from me. I'll have to definitely go there at some point. Oh yeah, it's the one near Godstow. Yeah, that's the one I've not been to yet, but it's the one I keep meaning to do at some point because it's not very far away, is it? And you can probably park quite easily. Yeah, so as long as you're in Poland, I don't mind people talking about stuff like that, Avon, because like I say, in the UK, you can't legally own or carry an ASP baton, but as long as you specify you're in a country where it's legal, I don't mind, because you're not then incriminating yourself, because you're saying, it's somewhere where you can legally do it. Yeah, I do think a lot of the UK laws need to change, but I said I don't really know how you could change them, because lots of people say, why don't you just have it like America? But I don't think it would be a good idea suddenly letting people, in the UK who haven't been brought up around firearms for the most part, suddenly being given pistols and everything else. All right, Deltade, thanks. My UC, as I said, has been a bit bad since last week, but I think it's been better today than yesterday. It's quite painful this morning, but as the day's gone on, I've been needing less painkillers and stuff like that. So I'm hoping by the end of next week, my UC should be under control again. What I did end up buying as well again, because I ran out, was more nicotine patches, because nicotine patches are very good because controlling ulcerative colitis to a degree. But yeah, for the most part, I'm all right because I'm done with work again for the weekend. So I'm not in at work till next weekend. I'll be volunteering on Thursday as usual, but it means I've got like 3 days now where I don't really need to get up and do anything. I mean, obviously I'll be doing stuff around the house and potentially seeing friends and stuff like that. But I don't have anything, where if I'm feeling ill, I'm really seriously need to do it. So that's good at least. Probably play some more Stalker when the stream's finished. If Mike's on Twitch tonight, I'll watch him, but I don't know if he is on Twitch or not. It's nicotine that helps specifically. The reason a patch is good is because it releases a controlled amount, throughout the day. So in theory, the patch is the best possible thing. But it's because nicotine's an immunosuppressant, and I think nicotine acts as a slight painkiller as well. That's the main reason, because ulcerative colitis is an autoimmune disease, obviously where your body's attacking itself. Anything that suppresses the immune system helps, because you can be given immunosuppressant drugs by like the doctor for ulcerative colitis, but they don't like to really give those out because the much stronger immunosuppressant drugs, if you're taking those daily, if you then got the flu, it could kill you quite easily. All right, that's cool, Mike. Then I'll either watch a film tonight or play some more Stalker. Not really that guy. I mean, I have constantly ongoing things like tidying stuff up, and this week I really need to try and get round to it. Put that sign up on the wall, put a nail through the side of that sign so it sticks to the wall properly. But yeah, there's a couple of things I need to do like that, and there's constantly things, like tidying stuff up, throwing old stuff away, that kind of stuff. Making room for more gas masks and throwing out junk or giving junk to charity that I don't want. Snus is banned in the UK, weirdly, Excluzone. I have no idea why. I know snus is quite useful for people who've been in certain countries, but for some reason the UK government went ban it, ban it, ban it, like they like to do. I get crazy dreams all the time, to be honest, Graham, so it doesn't make a difference to me. I need to do an updated nightmare anthology video again, because I've had some more crazy nightmares since I did the last one. There was one that scared the shit out of me I had a couple of days ago, and I don't know why, because it will seem really bland talking about it, but in the nightmare it was really creepy. I was driving down a road at night, and it was in my car, but for some reason it was left-hand drive, not right-hand drive. I don't know why, because my car's right-hand drive, because I'm in the UK. And the lights on the car started failing. Like, the engine didn't cut out, but the lights started failing. Like where it was like I had them on high beam or something, and then they were like really dim, but like the lights were still on. So I stopped the car because I was worried I might be in a collision, and I was like flicking around with the headlights trying to get the lights working properly. And then I stopped near this house, and like this deformed little kind of dwarf child thing with a really pale white face and like crooked teeth came out and started trying to break into the car. It was, really strange, but I don't know, it really freaked me out, that nightmare, compared to some of the ones I've had. That sounds good. Hope you get on all right with the weight bench, Rich. I'd really like a weight bench, but there's sadly not enough room in the house for it. Because I've got a rowing machine, and that never gets used now, just because people in the house kept putting like storing stuff on top of the rowing machine. So if I want to use the rowing machine, I'd have to like spend 20 minutes tidying up before I could use it, and then I'd have to spend ages putting everything back away again afterwards. I was on about another nightmare I've had. This name cannot be insulted. Yeah, I've heard stuff like that, but I often don't think there's all that much truth to it, because sometimes I think I just get nightmares because I read something or played something or saw a film or whatever, like a day or two before I had the nightmare, and then the nightmare's just based on that. Well, as I just said, it was literally, it didn't make much sense, but it really scared me. It was about my car essentially breaking down, didn't break down, but we'll just say breaking down to simplify it, outside like a house, and then this like deformed little dwarf child with a pale face and like crooked teeth and that ran out and started trying to break into the car. I don't know if it was because I was playing Stalker the other day and there's like the controllers. It didn't look all that much like a controller, but you know, it's that kind of thing. It doesn't sound like too bad a dream, Mike. Was she twerking on you? I'll use the term midge then, Richard, to be politically correct. Midge. I don't really know, Chris. I mean, if you have an interesting mask you want to put a load of trivia on, feel free, and then I'll happily read that. I said Hype found for me on Discord earlier those. What's the name of it? Is it the ROU mask? Yeah, the ROU. Hype found an ROU for me for like £18. So I've got an ROU coming from Russia now. That's good. Because most of the time I've seen ROUs, they've been like £30 to £50 plus. B found one that was like $10 plus $10 postage or something. So it ended up being like £18, which isn't bad at all. Be interesting to do a video comparing the ROU to the PTM ones because it's a similar sort of concept. Obviously, the ROU is a much higher quality mask. And it's one of the very few masks that's actually camouflaged. Other than what the Australian light anti-gas respirators, I can't think of many more masks that were made in camo patterns. Julia's skin, Iron Man, I think he has dreams about. Do you have dreams about mullet, Iron Man? Wouldn't surprise me if you did. So it's like the PTM one then. Well, the better PTM one I have. If I get this down, I'll show it. See, this one's actually got the exact same thing, so it probably sounds like it's... Does it have an exhale valve on it? Because the PTM doesn't, but obviously the entire mask you can breathe through. If you say it's got a nose cup, then I'm sure it does have an exhale valve of some sort. But yeah, the PTM one has this bit, obviously, which is designed that you can do that or whatever. So keep the mask sort of tight that way. But yeah, I don't think I've ever had a dream about being a soldier, Iron Man. Oh, that's very cool, Chris. I didn't know that. How flash burn is it? Because I imagine it wouldn't stand up to being quite close to a nuke. But I suppose if you're in a bit where the blast wouldn't get you, but you might otherwise get burnt, that is quite a good feature. It's very interesting. I'm looking forward to that then, because I do like the idea of masks like this, because, you know, I like the idea of kind of lightweight, sort of just, you know, like Fallout mask kind of things, and that seems like it'd be really good for that. And it would be one that you could essentially use for DIY. If I get on well with it, I might even keep it in my car, and then I can use it if I'm volunteering or whatever to work with dust, because then it'd be a really nice, lightweight, full-face dust mask. Because the PTM is good for that, but the only problem with the PTM is it can sometimes fog up quite easily. And it's got a very limited field of view because of the small eye bits that don't sit all that close to your eye. You know, like I said, the field of view is very limited on this, and it can steam up sometimes quite easily if the weather conditions are right. But I imagine the PTM, the ROU, sorry, would be a lot better for that. Every time they mention that, Richard, they say they're going to enforce it, and then they prolong it. So I doubt it's ever going to happen. Maybe because the MPs are too worried about what they like that they'll, you know, will end up getting blocked. But yeah, as far as I'm aware, that's one of those things where they keep saying they're going to bring it in, and then it gets pushed back, and then they say it's coming, and then it gets pushed back. What do you mean you made a terrible mascot? Like you cut up an M65 to make it, or what? That's very strange, Dom. A thing I found recently, which is quite weird, I don't know if it's like a sensory deprivation thing, but sometimes if I'm trying to sleep, I'll start hearing music in my head. and not like, when you're remembering music, but like you can actually hear it. Like it sounds like there's a speaker playing very quietly in the corner of the room, like where you can properly make out the music. And it's not music I recognize. Sometimes I think it sounds like music, but it's never like the right tune. That's very weird. But I do know that, like when people get sensory deprivation of certain sorts, like, when they've done experiments where they've kept people in a dark room with like no books to read or anything like that for a few days, people report, getting audio and visual hallucinations. It might just be something like that, or where the brain's hearing bits of background noise, essentially nothing, and then starts making stuff up from them to try and make sense of them. Because there is a lot of stuff of the brain where it does stuff like that. Like that thing I always mention, Charles Bonnet syndrome on the creepy streams. Where people whose eyesight is going start having visual hallucinations. Not that there's anything wrong with their brain, but the brain is trying to make up stuff it sees from the limited visual data. Oh, the Russian sleep experiment's a creepypasta, it's not real. That's interesting, Hunter. You should do a video or like pictures of it, because I'd be interested to see what it looks like. Yeah, what it was a couple of times when I've heard it, Mike, is where I've had a nap in the afternoon and I've had the PC running with the fan, either this PC or the old PC. So you get a slight fan noise coming from the PC, and every now and then, the hard drive's going like the hard drive noises when they're reading and writing. And what it sounds a bit like to me is the main menu theme in Skyrim, with the sort of chanting kind of whatever the sort of noises, they do in that. But not like the actual Skyrim theme, but that kind of thing. Not that I can think of, Chris, but as I said, go ahead of the M2000 C4 because I think they're both cool looking masks. I've not seen a list of things they want to outlaw, Richard. Feel free to post them in here if YouTube lets you. I think Peach will probably be upset, but I did see there was stuff where they were basically making anti-female laws of some of it, which was really pissed me off. As much as they go on about like sexism and equality and all that, I did see that there was a lot of stuff that was literally, anti-women in the laws. Well, with GP6, you mean GP5M or PMG2? But in terms of between the S10 and C3, definitely the S10. It's more comfortable and everything, because the C3 is just kind of an upgraded British Light anti-gas respirator. That's a shame, Hunter, but I imagine it looked cool. Yeah, definitely the S10 out of all those. But saying that, you can probably get a GP5M really, really cheap. So, because there's a GP5M there. So, again, if you could get a GP5M for like less than $10 or pounds, and then, sort of filter out for it cheaply, then it's very good for that price. It's just, the S10 is miles better in terms of being an actual functional military mask. All of those masks would work and everything with the right filters. It's just the S10, if you had to wear a mask for quite a while, you definitely want an S10. Will they do a grandfather law, Mike, like with deactivated weapons, where you're allowed to keep it on your hard drive, but you're not allowed to upload or share it? That'd be funny. Not that I'd want them to do that at all. But, it'd just be funny if that was a law. Right, what you can look into, that guy, is see if you can get an Avon FM12 for a better price, because some American police forces use the Avon FM12. So I imagine there's more of a chance that you'd find an FM12 for a good price in the States than an S10, and the FM12's a better mask anyway. Oh, is this with the M2000, Chris? But yeah, clear silicon nose cups are always good because, as I said, it gives you a better field of view. I definitely like that. SF10s were originally for Special Forces, Hunter. Unless you mean in the US or whatever, but in the UK, SF10s were literally the name meant Special Forces 10, as far as I'm aware. And it was for things like the SAS, where they wanted, essentially an S10 they could kind of manipulate more or whatever, if that's the right word. customize, modify, as far as I'm aware. But I think the police may have used some of those sort of things. No Viking of Doom, I've never been in the army. I think there is a prototype sort of one like that, Christian stuff. I don't know if it was one somebody mocked up or if it's real, but it's literally like a GP5 that you know, with a GP5 or a GP5M where you've got that line there. It's literally that line there, but then with straps. So I don't know if it was an official thing, but I'm sure they were probably designed as a prototype at some point. Because you know how, like, there's the VM37 and the VM40. The VM37 is the full hood helmet style design, and the VM40 is like the VM37 but with straps to make it cheaper to produce. It's literally that. Oh yeah, I definitely will watch it later, Mike. Sorry. I saw a notification for that earlier. It did actually send out a notification, but that was when I just got back in from work, so I hadn't watched it then. Didn't they make them all green after that, Chris, to differentiate that they were the newer ones, not the older ones? I think even if you make a petition, it won't do fuck all, sadly. Excuse my French. But there's lots of petitions that go to the UK Parliament kind of thing, where they can have millions of signatures and actually be for quite good, sensible things. And they basically go, oh, we talked about in Parliament, the law staying as it is. I'll look into that at some point, not a list. All right, cool, yeah, because I've definitely seen both green and black C4s in pictures, but yeah. I suppose green's kind of good for military use as well, isn't it? Because it's like partially camouflage in a sense. Yeah, maybe the police used them as well then, Hunter. But yeah, I know originally the purpose of them was basically for military special forces, where like the regular army would have the S10 and special forces would have the SF10 because it was a bit better. But then, yeah, again, stuff like that could obviously go to the police, I imagine, quite easily if they wanted to put a contract in for a mask. Oh, that's good, yeah, I suppose, because, yeah, green or dark green mask combined with a green camo pattern, yeah, would work well. As I've said before, I don't really want to get any really old sort of World War One kind of masks or masks that are post World War One that are very delicate, just because I wouldn't be able to store them well enough, in my opinion, and then I'd end up damaging them. I don't know, Dom, what was the last comment you were reading? We've just been chatting about masks mostly. Doesn't I don't know if it does, but does the SF10 actually have the polycarbonate lenses? Because that means the lenses are much stronger in it. And again, it doesn't need a drinking tube because it's a special forces mask, a bit like with the CT12. Because that was one of the things. I think the CT12 is basically the FM12, a bit like the SF10 is to the S10 kind of thing. But as far as I'm aware, it's just to have like a lighter, more kind of modular mask. Right, have a good evening, Chris. Thanks for the info on the mask. That was actually quite interesting. I'm only going to be on for another 7 to 10 or so minutes because I haven't had any dinner yet tonight. I've not been all that hungry today, but I will definitely try and eat some proper food just so I've got something in my system. And I'm probably going to play some Stalker later, and I need to watch. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I actually also need to reply to comments on my video because the video I did today is getting way more views than a normal video. It's, according to YouTube, the first 3 hours, 54 minutes of this video compared to a typical video, it's ranked 1 out of 10. It's got 855 views in like the first 4 hours or so. It's up 197% on watch time. Yeah, up 123% on views compared to a normal one. So I need to get around to replying to all the comments I've not replied to. I can't really do a stream from the kitchen, to be honest. Yeah, it's like when they asked, yeah, they did the thing, didn't they, where they said, oh, if you're a knife retailer, let us know what you think. There was a massive petition from the public and knife retailers saying the new laws are stupid. On all the things about knife retailers, all of them said this is going to destroy our business and going to hurt the economy. And then they said, well, even though all the evidence points to, you know, the opposite of what our law is. We want our law to pass, so fuck off, basically. Yeah, I've got some more lighter videos coming up. Hopefully they'll do quite well, Mike, because if I look on my analytics, lighter videos generally seem to always get more views, you know, like month on month kind of thing. So I do really need to get into the habit of doing more lighter videos just every now and then anyway, because it does seem like YouTube quite likes to share those compared to my normal videos. So even if it was just I did 1 or 2 lighter videos a month, I think I definitely need to keep that up because it does seem to help my channel out a lot more. Nearly all my masks come from eBay Christian stuff. Some come from army surplus stores when I stumble across an army surplus store and they've got stuff in for a good price. Sometimes car boot sales and stuff like that. But nearly always eBay. Like 99% on masks, or at least 90% plus, have come from eBay. Yeah, you can't post links, not a list, in streams. YouTube won't let you do it. It's not me, it's YouTube. I've bought a few things from Old Shop, and you might have heard in some of my reviews where I've reviewed things I bought from Old Shop. His prices are generally good and stuff like that. The only thing I don't like with Old Shop is he sells things like GP5 filters and claims they're safe, so he's a prick for doing that. But I don't have any problems with like his dispatch times and anything like that. You know, I think all sellers should never say stuff like GP5 filter is totally safe or mine is safe, they're a different model or something like that. Is it a particulate filter maybe then, Nautilus? Is it like the mask pole particulate filter? That's the only thing I could think of. Or maybe one that's just a charcoal one without the particulate one. Don't know what the question mark for is, Christian stuff. But yeah, generally if you've got small filters, it's for 2 reasons. It's either they're like a particle filter, which obviously doesn't have the charcoal layer. That's why it's thinner, because it's like half the size, because it's just the particle filter to stop dusts. Or it's a filter this size with just the charcoal layer. Because again, the reason the other one will be just the charcoal layer is because it's literally, you know, just to stop gases, and then it will have like a P1 layer on each side to keep the charcoal in. For under £40, an FM12, you can sometimes get them for under £40, and that'd be very good for under £40. Spaziani TR2002s, that Climax 731, that's very good. Polish MP5s, as long as you get one in a good condition. Right, cool, I'll Google that then and see what comes up. Some diesel generators are coming up, but it's not that. I found one on Allegro, let's have a look. The one I found's a giant one, though. It's a coffee can, not coffee can, it's an EO14 filter, which is for organic vapor, inorganic vapor, and acidic gases. So I don't think it's that one. It's silver, but it's big. Because the FP203 filter is... Wait, the FP203 filter is a red one, isn't it? Sorry. So no, that's the same size as the FP203, isn't it? It's just I think now they do it that with the ABE markings on. Sorry, I was thinking of the FP211 filters. It's confusing with mask pole and all their FP and then numbers. The worst Soviet mask I have, probably the GP7, that one up there. Because the filter input infrared on that one doesn't even screw in very well. And there's lots of reasons I don't like the GP7. But some people seem to really like the GP7 and PMK, so if they like it, good for them, but I just personally don't think they're very good. I actually think the GP5s are better, because actually GP5M, right? Let's compare the GP5M to the GP7. If you're buying one, the GP5M is way cheaper. They both take the same kind of filters. Both have got voice diaphragms. Both have pretty much the same lenses with the same field of view. But the GP5Ms don't tend to fog up as much. I know you can put anti-fog inserts in those, but you can in the GP5M anyway. So yeah, I think GP5Ms are just better than GP7s. GP7s look cooler, but they have horrible, horrible straps, and they have that really annoying inner face seal thing that ends up just kind of poking you in the side of the eyes. Right, the stream's been an hour now, so I'm going to wrap it up. If anybody's got any quick questions or anything they want me to answer, post them now before I go off. I'll probably stream Stalker for like 2 hours or something tomorrow. So it won't be a webcam stream tomorrow. It will just be playing Stalker, Shadow of Chernobyl. Well, with mine, you just literally can't get a filter to screw in properly. Like, you can never get a filter to go in airtight because the thread's just really poorly made. I don't know yet, Excluzone. I think it might be earlier in the day rather than the evening, but that's not a guarantee, to be honest. I might just do like 8 till 10 if their mic's on from like 10 p.m. on Twitch. My least favourite gas mask, full stop. I'd say actually, because I've been thinking about this, probably my pewter one, just because the straps always keep pinging off and the rubber's too soft to hold the weight of a filter effectively. So yeah, I'd say my pewter gas mask. If you don't know what it is, Google my channel. Google pewter gas mask or like search on my channel for it, and it's like a Chinese panoramic one. Well, I'm not in the States, that guy, but again, if you can get Avon FM12s in the States for a decent price, they're good. USM 40 masks aren't bad. M50s and C50s aren't bad. So you've got a lot of options. I like the MM1 quite a lot. Bear in mind it is still GOST, so you're going to need FP5 filters or modify it to take NATO filters. What do you mean by that, Derek? You only need a particulate filter to stop tear gas, so a P3 or P100 filter with a 40mm thread would stop tear gas. NBC filters would even better because it's got the P3 bit at the front and then a charcoal layer. Anyway, I'll end the stream now because I'm getting quite hungry and feeling quite tired, obviously. I had to go into work a bit early today. Well, I didn't have to, but my manager asked me could I start like half an hour earlier today just to get a load of stuff done before we opened. Favourite hosed mask? As in one where you can remove or can't remove the hose. One where you can't remove the hose, maybe the Mark IV, British Mark IV. But I wouldn't breathe for it, obviously, because of the old asbestos filter. But it is very cool looking. One way you can remove the hose, probably the Shums. Right, anyway, I'll be off now. Thanks, everybody. It's been a good stream. I've enjoyed it tonight. As I said, I'm feeling quite tired and hungry. Yeah, have a good evening, everybody else, and I'll see you all tomorrow. Bye.